Well, it's been a couple of weeks, but I am back and I'm ready for another exciting edition of Free Advice Friday. I've missed you guys. I had a lot going on for a couple of weeks there, traveling to Mavo and having the incredible opportunity to be a part of that conference again, which, by the way, it felt amazing to be back at Mavo. I was so excited to have the opportunity to do that event again after, not having been there in person since the pandemic. But that was going on and some family stuff that was going on. But here we are. We're back. It's the Black Friday edition of Free Advice Friday, or as I was calling it, Free Advice Black Friday. So welcome to the show. Looking forward to spending some time with you guys today. So there's a few things that are going to happen. First and foremost, it's Free Advice Friday. So I am here to answer all of your voiceover business and marketing questions. And so by all means, if you do have business and marketing questions that you would like to ask and get answered, this is your opportunity to do just that. Ask your questions and get them answered. So that is one of the things that is going to be going on. One of the other things that is going to be going on is, of course, it is Black Friday. And so I'm going to be running some sales for Black Friday in the VOpreneur store, which means an opportunity for you to pick up some new classes at a discount. So I'm going to give you details on what is going on there. And then, of course, I promised that there would be some giveaways. And so throughout the next little bit here, I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do it yet, but at some point there will be some random giveaways that will be done. So I'll come up with a plan. I don't know. We're winging it. It's live. What do you want from me? So that is going on. Oh, you know what? There's one other thing that I could probably talk a little bit about. I'm guessing some of you guys have got some questions about it. I can tell you that the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas is going to be back for 2023. I can, in fact, confirm with you that I have collected a number of prizes up to this point. I'm not going to tell you what the prizes are, but I can say I have collected a number of prizes. Okay, you know what? Let me give you a couple of hints. I could tell you that there are several demos that have been donated to the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. I can also tell you that there is an anniversary edition Neumann TLM 103 that has been given to the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. I could tell you at this point, we have just crossed over $15,000 in prizes. So last year I had to go back through my notes, but I was able to go back through my notes and figure it out. Last year, we ended up with just over $19,000 in prizes that were given away, which is absolutely incredible. And we had, I think there was 68 winners that were ultimately selected for prizes. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. 58, 68. Oh, see, now I'm having a brain fart and I can't remember exactly. It was, I think it was 58 maybe. 58 winners and just over $19,000 worth of prizes. So, point is, it was a really good year for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas last year. And obviously, I am looking forward to another amazing year for the 12 voiceover gifts this year. So I know that with that information, the number one question that is on your mind at this point is, Mark, how do I enter for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas? Well, let me tell you that we're not quite there yet. I've got a little bit more that I have to do. And hopefully I think I'm going to try to get it done by mid next week. I'll have a full sign-up page and everything will be ready to go for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. And so it's going to be great. Anyway, I'm excited about it and looking forward to being able to share that contest with you guys again. And of course, it will culminate with the live stream on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully my family will join me and we will all be here to draw names and do the contest again. So that's what's going on with that. So thank you everybody for watching. By the way, if you could just do me a favor, hit the like button while you're here. That would be really helpful. Fiber, welcome. Terry's here. Paul Hansen, Annie, Dion, Sean, Stephanie, Ellie, Joan, John. Thank you guys for hanging out. I certainly do appreciate it. So let's see, where should we start? I guess the very first thing that I will start with is Black Friday. So if you go to VOpreneur.com/store, VOpreneur.com/store, I could tell you that every class that I am currently offering, with the exception of my Nimble class, because it's already super cheap. So Making Money with LinkedIn, 101 Ways to Find Voiceover Leads, Follow-Up Academy, Booking in Your Backyard, 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur, Marketing Outside of the Box, and my brand new class that I just taught last week, Cash In on the Holidays. Every single one of those, you can take 20% off if you use promo code Black Friday at checkout. Okay, so go to VOpreneur.com/store, and you can use the promo code Black Friday at checkout, and that is automatically going to take 20% off of your price. Okay, so that promo code is going to be good through the weekend, so make sure that you are taking advantage of that. So that is what is up with Black Friday at VOpreneur. Some really great classes, all designed to help you with the business and marketing side of voiceover. So check that out. Take advantage of it. VOpreneur.com/store, and then use promo code Black Friday at checkout. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. So let's see. Let's do. You know what? Because look, there's already like 46 of you that are here and watching. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do voiceover trivia, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to do voiceover trivia. So hold on a second. I got to bring up a thing. I'm just looking at my other screen here. Going to bring up another thing over here, and we're going to do voiceover trivia for the first giveaway, okay? Because I know, look, I would love for you guys to go to VOpreneur.com/store, use promo code Black Friday, and, you know, score a sweet deal on a new class. But at the same time, if you're going to win a class, right? I don't want you to buy it if you're going to win it. So, you know, we'll do some giveaways for the next little bit in the midst of Free Advice Friday. And then, you know, if you don't win one, then you can go and buy it at the end. So here's voiceover trivia, okay? First person to correctly answer this in the chat, you are going to win a copy of Cash In on the Holidays. All right, we'll do Cash In on the Holidays, okay? So first person to correctly answer this question in the chat, you are going to win a copy of Cash In on the Holidays, which is a 60-minute class, $97 value. I go through about 15 different ways that you can market your voiceover business over the holidays, but then break that down into a whole bunch more specific examples. And what you learn in that class, even though it's designed for Christmas, I think really it's transferable to basically any holiday. So this is something that you're going to be able to use throughout the year as well. Okay, so here's a trivia question. Whoever answers it first, you are going to win a copy of Cash In on the Holidays. So trivia question is, what are the dates for VO Atlanta 2024? What are the dates for VO Atlanta 2024? First person to answer it in the chat, you are going to win a copy of Cash In on the Holidays, okay? What are the dates for VO Atlanta 2024? The answer is 42. Unfortunately, that is not correct. Everybody's like feverishly pulling up the VO Atlanta website. Jay Michael's going to be like, why did I get such a big spike in traffic on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock? Oh, there it is. Laura Doman got in first. On my screen, Laura Doman got in first. The correct answer, March 7th to the 10th, 24. Okay, so Laura, here's what I want you to do. I want you to email me, Marc at marcscottvoiceover.com. I'm writing your name down as well. Laura Doman, Cash In. You send me an email, Laura, and remind me, and when Free Advice Friday is over, I will get you set up with access to your course, okay? So there you go. Thank you. There's one prize given away. We're on a roll. Now, this is Free Advice Friday. Of course, I'm here to answer your voiceover business and marketing questions. And so if you do have a question that you would like to ask, by all means, please type it in the chat. I will keep an eye out in the chat, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have related to the business and marketing side of voiceover as well. And by the way, if you had the chance to even just win a prize there, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, so who's got a question? Who's got a question? What can I answer for you? I do want to mention, by the way, that the new episode of the podcast, Jordan Reynolds came on the show. Some of you are familiar with Jordan. Brilliant audio guy, does his Audio Ninja Masterclass, teaches a class on Apollo and how to set up your Apollo twin. But I brought Jordan on the show and released the episode intentionally yesterday because I know that some of you are probably watching for Black Friday deals. I have been watching for some Black Friday deals. So keeping an eye out for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Maybe you've got some equipment that you would like to upgrade in your studio or some new toys that you would like to add. And so I brought Jordan on the show and I basically said, give us your list of recommendations. What should we be looking for on Black Friday specials or Cyber Monday deals? Or what should we be adding to our Christmas list for Santa Claus? And that's pretty much what we discussed. So he gives recommendations on microphones, and he does across a wide range of budgets too. So from things that are around $100, $150 microphones right up to, $1,000 microphones. So we go across a wide range, but he talked about microphones. He talked about interfaces. He talked about headphones. He talked about other fun things that you can put into your studio. So check out that episode. It is here on the YouTube channel. It's also available wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. You can listen to the audio version, but that is the brand new episode of the podcast. So if you're looking for some ideas for Black Friday or ideas for your Santa Claus list, make sure you check out this new episode of the podcast. I think it's going to be particularly helpful. All right, let's see. Briscoe says, other than email and LinkedIn, what are some other ways to get leads? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I think, and now granted, I may be biased, but one suggestion that I could make for getting leads would be to go to VOpreneur.com/store and check out this masterclass right here, 101 ways to find voiceover leads, which actually ended up, by the time I was done, I think I shared 122 different places where you could find voiceover leads, 122 of them. And look, if I put in promo code Black Friday, boom, there you go, 20% off, get the masterclass for $117. So that might be one that you want to check out. Again, that's at VOpreneur.com/store, 101 ways to find voiceover leads. I think that there are a lot of different places that you can look for leads. Other than LinkedIn, which is obviously great, you could go onto any social media platform, and on whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or X or Facebook, hashtags are clickable. And so if you go into X, for example, and you look up hashtag video production, just throwing one out there. If you click on that hashtag video production, you're going to see everybody on X that is using hashtag video production. And every one of those people that is using that hashtag potentially becomes a lead for you. You could do the same thing on Instagram. You can do a search. Rather than doing a search for images, you can do a search for hashtags, and you can see everybody that's using a hashtag. So you figure out what are the relevant hashtags for whatever the genre is that you're looking for. Maybe it's commercial, maybe it's video production, maybe it's hashtag instructional design or hashtag e-learning developer if you're in the e-learning space. But whatever the relevant hashtag or hashtags are for that particular genre, you could search by those hashtags in any one of the social media platforms. And that can become one really easy way to generate a long list of leads, because the assumption is that the people who are using that hashtag to put out their content are probably the same people who could be potentially interested in hiring you for voiceover. So there's one idea for you, Terry. I hope that one's helpful. Any of that, like I said, that works across any of the social media platforms. I'll give you one more, because some of you may be traveling over the holidays. This is something that I actually do every time I fly. When I'm riding in the airport shuttle from the hotel to the airport, or from the airport back to the hotel, and I'm in a city that I'm, not usually in, I like to pay attention to the names that are on the side of the building, because I think that the names on the side of the buildings can sometimes lead to potential opportunities. I also pay attention to the billboards that I see when I'm driving around, because I think that those billboards are companies who are obviously marketing, and maybe some of those companies are companies worth looking up. So those are a couple of things that I would recommend. All right, let's see. Where are we going next? Stevie says, what range of winter break dates should I not market? Mid-December to mid-January. I get asked this question every year, and my answer is the same every year, which is, why would you stop marketing? There's an assumption that the whole world just shuts down by mid-December, And, they don't come back until the second week of January. And I'm not really sure where that assumption comes from, because we still go about our lives. We still go shopping. We still go to the store. We're still out there doing things. And so I think the first thing we have to do is we have to put aside the assumption that business just closes down. I'm constantly looking for new opportunities. I book continuously, often right up until the end of the year. And this is something that I talk about in Cash In for the Holidays, by the way, guys. I talk about this whole notion of, when should I stop marketing and business shutting down and all that sort of stuff. So my whole thing is, I don't think that you stop. I think that you continue to let people know that you're out there and that you are available. I think the other thing that you can do is, when you are marketing, if you get autoresponders where somebody sends a message back and says, I'm out of the office from such and such until such and such, great. Now you know when you can reach out to them again, because they just told you in an autoresponder. And so you can put that into your CRM, set a reminder for yourself whenever the date comes up that they're back in the office. Then that gives you another opportunity to reach out, because now you know that they're back in the office, right? So if they say we're going to be back on January 3rd, I would say wait a couple days. And after that, don't reach out, the day they're back. But it gives you an idea of when you can reach out again. But the other thing I would say, and again, I talk about this in Cash In for the Holidays, look for markets outside of the United States, because not everybody celebrates Christmas. And that means that there are a lot of other countries that can keep you going while the U.S. is shut down for the holidays. Scott Walker says, do you process your own auditions? Okay, Scott, great question. And this is something that I actually go into a little bit more in depth with George Whittam. George and I did a podcast together about 2 weeks ago. Again, you can find that right here on the YouTube channel, but you can also find that one wherever you do podcasts. Now, George and I actually were specifically talking about recording from the road and setting up a travel booth and being able to record while you're traveling, whether it's for Thanksgiving or for the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, whatever. But also in that episode, we talk a lot about this whole notion of raw audio and what should you or shouldn't you be doing to your sound. And actually, Jordan and I talk about that a little bit as well in the episode that we did together. So I do very, very, very minimal processing to the audio that I am sending out. I go through a process that was actually set up for me by Uncle Roy. So I did the studio assessment with Uncle Roy. I sent him my audio. And then he says, okay, based on your audio, based on your raw audio, right? The fully raw audio, do this, this, and this. And he set up a custom deal for me in Adobe Audition. And so that's the only thing that I do. I think for most voice actors, if you are not an engineer, if you are not very technically savvy, if you don't have a background in recording and production, I think trying to figure out your own processing is generally a bad idea. And I think that is proven time and time again through online casting, because we're consistently being told by CEOs of online casting sites that audio quality is terrible from a lot of voice actors. And so I do think that is one of the ways that you need to, or one of the areas where it's worth consulting with a professional. Uncle Roy, Jordan Reynolds, George Whittam, Tim Tippett, there's a lot of them out there. Dan Leonard, Dan Friedman. These are all guys that you could reach out to and have them set something up for you, so that you've had a professional engineer's ears on it, so that you know that whatever you're doing, it's not too much. And so that would be my advice on that. What is your favorite place to look up pronunciations? A lot of pronunciation videos are just bots that get it wrong. Yes, you are absolutely right about that. However, some of them, Forvo.com, for example, Forvo.com. Let me just bring that one up. Flip this over here. Forvo.com. I like this one. And one of the reasons why I like this one is because it will often give you multiple pronunciations, and so sometimes you can actually go through and law of averages, right? If there's 5 pronunciations there and 3 of them are the same, then I'm going to probably go with that one. So that's one thing that you could do. But before we even get to that point, when I get a script from a client and I've got pronunciations that I'm not sure of, I'm always going to check with the client first. I would rather ask them the questions up front and make sure that I have the pronunciations correct than have to come back and do revisions later. And a lot of voice actors are just afraid to ask the question because, I don't know, I guess they assume that we should know the entire language, like literally the entire language of the world. But we don't have to know that. So I always ask the client, when I'm working with clients who are out of the United States, or, maybe they've done, like, I've got clients in other countries where somebody else does the French version, somebody else does the German version, somebody else does the Spanish version, the Italian version, whatever, and I'm doing the English version. And so maybe there's some pronunciations that aren't native English pronunciations. I work with clients in the Middle East, and sometimes there's weird names that I like of companies and cities and sometimes individuals, and I don't know how to say those things. So the other thing that I will do is I will actually ask the client, would you mind recording this for me? And you can just record it on your phone, but would you mind recording it for me so that I can listen to it back to make sure that I'm getting the pronunciation? And I have never had a client push back on that. Again, because ultimately it's saving time up front, right? If I'm getting the pronunciation wrong repeatedly, every time we have to go back and do revisions, it's a pain in the butt. It's not a good fix. It's not time efficient. And so when I ask them, more often than not, they are absolutely willing to have that conversation and to do that recording for me so that I can make sure that I'm getting the pronunciations right. And so that's something else that I would think of as well. And he says, hey, your walls look freshly painted and I don't see holes. Did you finally fix those, or is that creative lighting? Okay, so it's a combination of a couple of things. If you look really closely, you can see, like, I have patched them. I have not yet finished them. But if I go like this, you can see, and I go like this, it is creative lighting too, right? So a little bit of creative lighting, a little bit of drywall compound, and away we go, Annie. I'm getting closer. I haven't got it done yet, but I am getting closer. I got to figure out what color I want to paint. It was really that's part of it. Okay, let's do another giveaway. All right, I'll get to some more questions in a minute, but let's do another giveaway. Okay, so we're gonna do some more trivia. Voiceover Marketing Playbook is my flagship marketing program. Some of you may be aware of it, and some of you may be waiting for it. It comes out again in January. So here's the question. And by the way, we're going to do this one for marketing outside of the box. Let me write this down. Marketing outside of the box. Okay, so marketing outside of the box. Again, another 60-minute class, $97 US in value. And that class, it teaches you a number of different ways to market your business that are outside of the traditional doing cold leads and cold email. Okay. So that is marketing outside of the box. So here is the trivia question. What are the release dates in January for VoiceOver Marketing Playbook? What are the release dates in January for VoiceOver Marketing Playbook? And I will give you a hint. You can find out at voiceovermarketingplaybook.com. First person to put it into the chat, what are the release dates for VoiceOver Marketing Playbook in January? First person to put it in the chat, you are going to win a copy of Marketing Outside of the Box. Oh, that was so fast. Peter Rain already has it done. Playbook is, in fact, coming out January 8th through the 17th. So let me write this down. Peter. All right, Peter. Do me a favor, my friend. Send me an email. Send me an email. I'm going to put my email in the chat here. Peter, send me an email and let me know that you just won a copy of Marketing Outside of the Box on Free Advice Friday, and I will make sure to get you set up with that after the broadcast is done. Okay, so woohoo! We're giving away free stuff. We're having fun. We're $200 in giveaways and counting. Okay. Andrew says, running so many businesses, how do you organize your day? That is a great question. I stink at organizing my day. And I know you would think that, with everything that I've got going on and with how much I'm able to accomplish on a daily basis, you'd think that I'm incredibly organized. But the reality is, I have certain hours that are available in my calendar for coaching. I think I've done close to 800 coaching sessions this year, between 15-minute consultations, 1-hour sessions that voice actors have booked with me, playbook coaching sessions that voice actors get when they sign up for the course. I've had close to 800 different sessions this year, which is crazy. It's like 5 a day, give or take, five a day, 5 days a week. And so that's the first thing that goes on my schedule, because that's obviously really important to make sure that I fit in and meet all of my coaching obligations. And then I kind of fill in the blanks around that based off of my task list and what I know that I have to do. I will tell you that I have been playing around with Notion lately for the third time. Yes, the third time. The first couple times that I signed up with Notion, I got really overwhelmed. I couldn't figure it out. I found it very confusing, even though I wanted to be able to figure it out. But I've continued to watch some YouTube videos and play around with it a little bit more. And so I've started using Notion as a way of keeping track of where I'm at with my podcast, where I'm at with Free Advice Friday, and where I am at with some of my day-to-day task lists. So that's definitely one of the things that I have been using. But one of the commitments that I'm going to make, I've already started planning out what are some of my goals that I want to make for 2024. And one of them is that I need to get better at my social media. I know you guys probably think like, holy crap, Mark, you're on my social media, all of my channels, all day long, every day. And I mean, maybe, but I want to get a little bit more organized with social media. And so I'm going to be looking at some different options for that, whether it's a social media scheduler or a planner. I've played around with a couple of different ones, haven't settled on anything yet. But I think a big part of it too, for me, is there are blocks of my day when I'm in the studio where I'm just in the studio. My phone is not in the studio with me. And I have a notifications setting on my Mac, a focus setting on my Mac, which allows me to block out notifications from all kinds of different apps and stuff like that. And so, there's literally points in the day where, unless you are my wife or one of my children, you cannot actually get a hold of me for an hour or two. I mean, you can leave me a message or whatever. I'm just not going to get notified of it. And I have to do that because every time my phone pings, that's a distraction, right? Every time I get another social media notice, I want to go check what's going on. Every time another inbox comes in, I want to go check what's going on. And every time I pull myself off task, I've just lost time and productivity and focus. And so that's another big part of how I manage to get things done, is just by making sure that when I'm committed to working on a task, I'm committed to working on only that task and not trying to work on 17 different ones at the same time. Kay Weaver says, cash in on the holiday, had a bunch of great ideas. Well, thank you so much for that, Kay. Again, if you're interested in any of these courses, remember that you can go to VOpreneur.com /store, VOpreneur.com /store. Use promo code Black Friday, and you can save 20% off any of these classes if you are interested in checking those out. All right, let's see. Where are we going? Michael says, how important do you believe it is to have a very clear and recognizable branding and specific messaging in your marketing, as opposed to trying to generate more personalized connections? Good question. Okay. I do think that there is value in having a brand. I think that working with somebody like Celia Siegel to help you uncover that brand can be an incredibly smart investment for your voiceover business. I think when you have identified that brand, it helps you to figure out better who you should be marketing to and how you should be marketing to those people. Now, on the flip side of that, do I think that it is possible to successfully market your voiceover business without a very clearly defined brand? Absolutely. Because I'm the living example. I do not have a clearly defined brand for my voiceover business. People are familiar with VOpreneur, right? Yes, VOpreneur is what I do for my coaching. VOpreneur is the podcast. It's Free Advice Friday. It's a lot of my content. But on the voiceover side, I've never really built a brand. And yet I've been able to successfully market myself. But going off of what you said, Michael, one of the reasons why I've been able to successfully market myself is because I do work on making more personalized connections. I do a little bit of research before I reach out to these companies. I try to find a way to make a little bit deeper connection with them outside of just sending some, random generic form letter. And so I do think that that makes a difference. Now, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into branding, speaking of Black Friday and looking for deals, I don't know if it's on sale or not. Actually, you know what? Since we said it, let's take a look, shall we? Let's go to Amazon.com and check for voiceover. Oh, hang on a second. Voiceover Achiever by Celia Siegel. Look at that. $5.95 limited time deal for the audiobook. So if you are interested in diving a little bit deeper into branding and figuring out how to put together your brand, this might be what you want to look at right here. Voiceover Achiever, Brand Your Career, Change Your Life. And honestly, I've read Celia's book. It was absolutely fantastic. Reading her book is actually what prompted me to do the podcast interview with her. And we did that interview a couple of months ago, and I learned a ton from that. And so maybe you're not in a position at this point where you can go through her entire program, but you could certainly buy the book, and it's on sale. So there you go. That might be helpful as well. All right, let's see. Where are we going? Big B, M3 iMac versus M2 Mini, provided they have the same storage, RAM, etc., taking into account that the iMac is twice the price. Is it worth the price? Okay, so I can tell you right now, I'm still on an old Intel iMac, and I can do everything that I need to do, including this live stream right now. I'm editing video versions of the podcast, which are, gigabytes. Now, when I built this Mac out, I did max out the RAM on it. So let's see, what is this? This is a 3.6 gigahertz 8-core Intel i9 with 64 gigs of memory. And I'm running fine. I'm running absolutely fine on that. So I think my whole thing is I figure that I'm going to upgrade. I plan to replace my computer every 4 years. And I've done that since I started in voiceover. Not specifically because I have to, just because I need expenses for my business. And so what do you call it? Amortize? It's not amortization. I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, I can deduct a certain percentage of that capital expense every year over a span of a certain number of years. And so it's usually about 4 years to write off a computer, and then I upgrade and I get another one. And so what my plan has always been was just get the best one that I can afford to get at the time that I'm buying it. And one thing that I will usually do is upgrade the RAM, and that has always helped me. Look, you're probably going to be able to find some pretty good deals for Black Friday as well. Kay said, I need a very basic CRM, but also I don't have much cash flow coming in to afford it. Any recommendations for cheap basic CRMs? Great question, Kay. So the cheapest option, the most affordable option, shall we say, would be HubSpot. And that is because HubSpot is free. So that would certainly be one that you might want to look at. Here is my one word of caution if you decide to go with something like a HubSpot, though. Take this for what it is. Most CRMs will give you the ability to build out a database, and they will give you the ability to export that database as a CSV file. I don't want to get super technical, but what that means is basically if you build your database out in HubSpot, but a couple years down the road, you decide you want to move to a different CRM, you can export your database from HubSpot into a CSV file, which is like a spreadsheet, basically. And then you can import that CSV file into your new CRM. That works pretty seamlessly. What doesn't work is matching all of the different fields, because HubSpot, for example, would have different fields from Nimble. So that's one thing you have to be aware of. If you start with a free CRM, and look, sometimes that's what we have to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you start with a free CRM and you decide that you want to change to a different CRM later on down the road, there's going to be some work involved to make that happen. So that's one thing that you want to take into consideration. The other thing I would say is HubSpot is free, but if you decide that you want to upgrade later on, maybe you've got some cash flow coming in now and you're interested in upgrading and getting something a little bit better, HubSpot is very expensive because it is primarily an enterprise grade CRM. And so it's not one that you can easily upgrade as a, small business or solopreneur. Now, it's amazing software. It's just probably a lot more than what most of us as voice actors need. So that's where I tend to recommend something like a Nimble. Obviously, everybody knows that I use Nimble and I love Nimble. I think Cloze, C-L-O-Z-E, that's another one that is worth looking into. And there are a few different ones that people recommend. Those small business, solopreneur, we'll call them, type CRMs, you're probably going to be in the I'm just going to say on average, you're going to be in the $25 a month range, right? And so $25 a month is not crazy if you're using the CRM to its full extent, because I always feel like your CRM should be able to generate revenue for you, right? If you're using your CRM properly, you should be able to make your money back. And so that's one of the things where I think a CRM is a good investment to make. Carmen Wilson is watching the broadcast right now. Carmen, where is the video? Yeah, that's right, Carmen. I just called you out on YouTube publicly on Free Advice Friday. Carmen sat down and had a conversation with me at Mavo, and I gave her some very specific instructions on what her next steps were, and I haven't seen her take those next steps yet. So welcome to Accountability Free Advice Friday live on YouTube style, Carmen. Where is the video? I want to see the video. All right, let's see. Any recommendations for a mouse, saying as it's Black Friday? Yes. Don't buy the Apple Magic Mouse. Yesterday, I was working, and at like 2:45 in the afternoon, all of a sudden, the thing pops up. Your mouse is dead. And that was it. I was done. My day ended because I needed to plug my mouse in and charge it for a couple hours. God bless you, Apple. I love you. I'm a shareholder. I'm fully ingrained in your ecosystem. Siri runs my entire house. But why can't you figure out how to make it so that this thing can be charged and used at the same time? This should not, like, literally, we are building rocket ships to take people to Mars, and I can't even charge my Magic Mouse and use it at the same time. What the heck? So that's my suggestion. Don't buy that one. All right, let's see. John says, should I wait to have a pro-produced demo before direct marketing? I've had some coaches approve my DIY demo, but many coaches say you should never use a DIY demo for marketing. Thoughts? All right, John, this is a very loaded question that could potentially get me in trouble in a lot of different ways, depending on who's watching and listening. I'm going to say 99 times out of 100, you should not be marketing with a DIY demo. And there are several reasons why I think that. Going back to something I mentioned earlier, reason number one, most voice actors are not professional engineers, right? If you are not a professional engineer, that means that you are not producing a professionally engineered demo, which means that it is not the best possible reflection, okay? So that's number one. Most voice actors are not professional engineers. Number two, most voice actors are not directors. We are directed, but we are not often directors. And so it's really easy to have blind spots when you're in the booth recording a demo if you don't have outside ears that are there directing you. Number three, I would say, is that most voice actors are not necessarily up on every single trend in commercial, whereas professional commercial producers, this is what they do for a living. They pay attention to the trends. They know exactly what's booking, what styles of reads are booking. They know what kind of sound design is booking, like all of these different sorts of things. And so all of that goes into making a demo. I think the fourth reason is because often when I hear DIY demos, they all sound the same. And when you're working with a professional producer and director is going to give you a commercial demo that might have 6 completely unique and distinct reads and styles and tones on it, which really brings out and showcases your range. And a lot of voice actors miss that mark on DIY. So 99 out of 100 voice actors should not be doing DIY demos, because here's the other thing. When you're marketing that, you got to remember that your DIY demo is getting marketed against demos produced by J. Michael. It's getting marketed against demos produced by Ann Ganguza, against Uncle Roy, against demos being produced by Dave Walsh. So you are still competing with the best demos that are out there. So then the other question you have to ask yourself is, does my DIY demo match up? Another thing that you need to take into consideration is that most agents will not give you consideration unless you have a professionally produced demo. And I have even heard, and I can neither confirm nor deny, but I have heard rumor that some agents may only give consideration to demos that are produced by a certain group of producers because they know and trust those producers to do great quality work. So take that as you will. My advice would be, though, because of that you are competing against the best of the best, you want to make sure that you are competing with the best of the best, I guess is really the way to put it. You want to make sure that your demo is going to hold up against everybody else and that it does all of those other things that I talked about. Does it have current trends? Does it show your complete range? Is it on point with what is going on in the whatever it is, the commercial space, the e-learning space, etc.? Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Like, could you go out and produce a demo for real estate tours? Yes, of course you could go out and self-produce a demo for real estate home tours, and you could probably get away with that. Could you go out and produce a telephony demo on your own? Yes, you could probably go out and produce a telephony demo on your own. But would I be producing a commercial demo, a promo demo, some of those types of demos? No, I probably would not be producing those types of demos. All right, let's see. We're going to do another giveaway. What should I do? I'm trying to do some voiceover trivia here. What should I do? Okay. We're going to do another copy of Cash In on the Holidays. So again, the webinar that I taught, it's a 1-hour class. Once you sign up, you'll get instant access to that class. It's going to give you a whole pile of different ways, different ideas that you can market yourself over the holidays. So the voiceover trivia for this is... What is the voiceover trivia for this? Okay. I did a podcast recently with Dave Walsh. What was the title of the audio version of that podcast? I did a podcast recently with Dave Walsh. What was the title of the audio version of that podcast? First person to put it in the chat is going to win a copy of Cash In on the Holidays. Okay? I know there are probably better ways that I could do this, but honestly, putting in an entry form and having you guys fill out an entry form, and then I got to do a spin the wheel and all of this sort of stuff. I can't do that while I'm doing this. Oh, here we go. The first answer, Brent Bender, finding your authentic voice. That is correct. So Brent Bender, congratulations. Let me write your name down. Brent Bender, Cash In. Okay, Brent, make sure that you send me an email to mark@markscottvoiceover.com. Okay, Brett, sent me, Brett. I got to write this down properly. Brett Bender. Make sure that you send me an email to mark@markscottvoiceover.com. You want a copy of Cash In on the Holidays. I will get you set up with access after Free Advice Friday is complete. All right. All right, let me see. I want to find out. I don't want to miss questions. Carmen, I mean, literally, you brought it on yourself. What do you want from me? You put yourself out there, Carmen. I told you I was going to hold you accountable. This is what you asked for, wasn't it? Stephanie says, I think Nimble might have a little sale on right now, but you can also try it for free. It's on my list to give it a go. And that is correct. So let me put the link in the chat again. Nimble.com/MarkScottVO. Okay, I just put the link in the chat. Nimble.com/MarkScottVO. You can sign up there for a 30-day trial. But if you do decide that you want to sign up, I do think that they do have some Black Friday specials on right now, although I haven't specifically seen them. But I'm sure if you look on their social media or on their website, I'm sure you'll be able to find them, see what the Black Friday specials are. But yeah, if you want to try that, test drive it, nimble.com/MarkScottVO. Link is in the chat there. Again, guys, if you're having fun, thank you for watching Free Advice Friday. Thank you for coming, doing some giveaways, having some fun. Do me a favor. Hit that like button, please. I would certainly appreciate if you would hit that like button. As a reminder, if you go to VOpreneur.com/store, all of the different classes that I have to offer right now, with the exception of Nimble, because it's already dirt cheap, all of those classes are available for 20% off for Black Friday. When you go to the checkout, there's a little box right at the top of the checkout form. Use promo code Black Friday, and you will save 20% off any of those classes. So make sure you check that out. Again, that's VOpreneur.com/store. Here we are here. Making money with LinkedIn, 101 ways to find voiceover leads, the Follow-Up Academy Masterclass, booking in your backyard. So these 4 classes are 2-hour masterclasses. And then 10 marketing commandments and marketing outside of the box and cash in the holidays. Those are 1-hour classes, but they're all video. You will always have access. You can go back and watch them as often as you would like. And so again, as a reminder, let's just do this one as an example. Right here at the top, you'll see the box there. If you type in Black Friday and click apply, you will receive 20% off just like that. So check that out. Okay, where are we going? If you've got a question, again, I am here for Free Advice Friday. So by all means, if you've got questions, and I do apologize, I'm trying to keep up with the questions. There's a lot of questions that are going on right now. So if I have missed your question, I certainly do apologize, and feel free to ask it again if I missed it. There's a lot of Carmen. Carmen is getting called out. Look at that. She is getting called out. Can't wait to see that first video. All right, let's see. Do agents or potential clients always ask who produced your demo? Clients generally no. Clients because they have no idea for the most part. But I have heard of some agents who do want to know whether or not your demo was professionally produced and who produced that demo. I can't say what agents. I don't know. I've just heard that there are some out there who have asked that question in the past. So big delay. People are answering before you've asked the question. Wow, that's the magic of YouTube. There's like a telepathic thing going on here right now then. If some of them are that far ahead, I do apologize. Let's see. Yes, this is a good point. Jennifer says you may need to fast forward a little bit to catch up. Put me on double speed. I'll sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. That could be fun. All right, let's see. Where are we going? Again, I apologize if I've missed your question. Okay, here's one. Stevie says, I'm only receiving auditions through one manager and booked one job in 6 months. Haven't started direct marketing. I feel defeated, failure, family skeptic. Words of advice. Yeah. I have 3 agents, 3 reputable agents. This year, I have made $0 off of those agents. That's the nature of the game. The percentage of voice actors that are making a full-time living off of their agents is very, very small. It's a very, very small percentage. But the percentage of coaches that are out there who are encouraging you that you need to go out and get an agent, and that's, you know, your key to success and riches and fame and glory, there's a lot of people who are putting that message out there, and it's total BS. I got shortlisted with my agent this week and got all excited because I thought I was going to get something, but then, you know, then it didn't pan out. So if you are relying exclusively on managers or agents, that's a big part of the problem, because the reality is if you surveyed 100 voice actors, I would say that 90 of them are not making a full-time living from their agents. Maybe 95 are not making a full-time living from their agents. I would say that there's probably a pretty decent percentage of them that are only booking 1 or 2 jobs a year off of their agents. And so what you need right now is more sources of auditions. You have to have more sources of auditions. And that could come in the form of online casting, looking at something like Voice123 or Voices.com or Bidalgo or whatever. Yes, I said it. We can debate that later, that one particular casting site, but those are certainly options. But then direct marketing is going to be another big part of it. You just have to get more auditions. That's it. This is a numbers game. It really is a numbers game. When you decide to upgrade your demos, do you go back to the same coach? Well, I think a lot of that depends on how you feel about that coach and how well you did with the demo that you did with that coach. So I have produced demos in the past with Uncle Roy. which have made me money, got me nominated for awards. I have a fantastic demo that was produced by J. Michael Collins. I've got a fantastic demo that was produced by Ann Ganguza. So I have gone around to a couple of different people for different demos and different experiences. But I would absolutely, without hesitation, go back to Uncle Roy or Ann or J. Michael for another demo. Wouldn't even give it a second thought. And so I think that's the real question is, how did you feel about your experience? How did you feel about that demo that you got? And is it did it make money for you? And if it did, then maybe going back to that same person and upgrading is the right decision. Or maybe you decide, I just want to see what somebody else has to offer. And maybe you give it a shot with somebody else and see whether or not that works for you. Carmen says the video will be in your inbox for review before Monday. Will that be good? Well, I mean, we'll see. Otherwise, I'll have to call you out publicly on the internet again. I'm just saying here. Just saying. All right, let's see. All right, where are we at? Again, guys, thank you for watching. If you do have a question, feel free to type it into the comments. I'm certainly happy to answer it for you. Make sure you check out the new episode of the podcast with Jordan. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about microphones. We talked about interfaces. One of my favorite things that we talked about, there's a lot of gear shaming that happens when you have a Scarlett 2i2. And, other, quote unquote professionals have like, $1,500 or $2,000 fancy Apollo interfaces and stuff like that. And so one of the questions that I asked Jordan straight up, I said, if you take away the features, right? All you need to do is get an XLR microphone connected to your computer, does it matter what kind of interface you have? You might be surprised by the answer that he gave. So check out his gear recommendations, microphones, interfaces, headphones. We talked about some other fun gadgets and toys for the studio as well. So that is on the YouTube channel here. And it is also wherever you listen to podcasts, or you could head to VOpreneur.com. Of course, it's on the website. The new episodes of the podcast always go up on the website at VOpreneur.com. Stephanie says, thank you for sharing that number and being honest, though. It's important to know the truth of how the agent thing is panning out, and as a result, how much power we have personally. Yeah, I mean, look, generally speaking, I might book a couple of jobs a year off of my agents, a couple $1,000. Now, that's probably more of a statement of me as a voice actor than it is of my agents, but I think it's also a realistic reflection of what is going on in the industry. I mean, look at your agents. How many voice actors is your agent representing? Right? If they got 100 or 200 people on their roster, that right there tells you that your odds are lower. I think the other thing you got to understand is when you're competing for agent auditions, generally those are bigger commercials, right? Sometimes national commercials. And if you get frustrated when you go on Voice 123 and you see that the client asked for 100 auditions and it's already got 105 submitted, just know that on those national commercials, there could literally be thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands of voice actors submitting for that same commercial. And so you got to be on point, right? You got to be on point if you're going to be booking consistently with your agents. And it is hard. All right, where are we going? Thank you guys for hanging out as always. Are there any big differences in the Canadian VO market? We've seen some auditions that say Canadian talent only. Yeah, the biggest difference in the Canadian market is the rates here are primarily not great. But everything's relative. I say that the rates are not great, but you also have to take into consideration that on an economic scale, Canada's economy is like a tenth of the United States. And so it stands to reason that the rates are probably going to be lower. Just look at the difference in our currency, right? I think if I were to go and buy, well, I bought US dollars before I went to Mavo, and I paid $1.41 on the, so 41 cents. I paid 41 cents on the exchange. So that in and of itself, just the value of our currency makes a difference in the rates as well. But yes, sometimes you will see, particularly on broadcast type stuff, you may see Canadian talent only, and part of the reason for that is sometimes depending on the production, there can be tax incentives for companies to hire Canadian talent. So that's something to take into consideration as well. Took the Making of Money with LinkedIn Masterclass, started from ground zero. On my 9th LinkedIn connection, I was offered a job national at an organization that has a message I'm very passionate about. Look at that. That's freaking awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, TJ. That is an amazing story, and I appreciate that very much. So there you go. There's a good testimonial for making money with LinkedIn, right? I mean, look, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but guys, it's right here. It's right there. VOpreneur.com/store. Type in Black Friday. I can't spell. Type in Black Friday, take 20% off, get it for $117. You know, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right, let's see. What else? What can I answer for you? Sean Pratt coming to the podcast next week. What an interview that was. I was working on putting together this interview with Sean because I wanted to explore the audiobook genre, and audiobooks admittedly is a genre that I know absolutely nothing about. It's a genre that mostly terrifies me. But I thought, hey, you know what? I'd like to have Sean on. I'd like to find out what Sean has to say, and I would like to have a better sense of the audiobook space. And what ended up happening was that he basically gave a masterclass in acting. Yes, we talked about it primarily from the audiobook side, but he really did just give a masterclass in acting, which was incredible. So that episode is coming out next week. So watch out for that. Okay, what time is it? I got 4 minutes. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I got one more giveaway. Let's do 101 ways to find voiceover leads. Okay, 101 ways to find voiceover leads. This is $147 US in value. It is a 2-hour masterclass. It's called 101 voiceover leads, but sometimes, you know me, I get carried away. And so it actually ended up being like 122 different places, different ways, different ideas for looking for voiceover work. The 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas are coming. I have announced some information about the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. I haven't announced it all yet, but one of the things that I have announced is the current dollar value of all donated prizes. What is the current dollar value of the prizes donated for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas? First person to put it in the chat, you're going to get a copy of 101 Ways to Find Voiceover Leads. I've mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. It's on the Facebook page. I've talked about it a little bit, so those that are paying attention will know the answer to this. The current dollar value for this year's 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas, the current value of prizes collected. First person to put it in the chat. And okay, here we go. Par 513. Par 513 got it correct. It is $15,000. So par 513, 101 ways. Okay, par 513. I am putting my email address in the chat. Marc at marcscottvoiceover.com. Please send me an email to Marc at marcscottvoiceover.com. I have written that down, but let me know because I'm guessing your real name is not par 513. So when you email me, just mention your username on YouTube as well. And so let me know, and I will make sure that you get set up with that. So congratulations to Laura Doman and Brett Bender. You guys both won cash in on the holidays. Congratulations to Peter Rain, who won Marketing Outside of the Box, and to Par 513, who won 101 Ways to Find Voiceover Leads. So there's a few prizes for you guys. So again, just as a reminder, now that's all the prizes that I'm giving away. The Black Friday code will run through the weekend. So if you go to VOpreneur.com/store, VOpreneur.com/store, enter promo code Black Friday on any of those classes, and you'll be able to save 20% off. That code is good through the weekend. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming, and thank you for hanging out as always. To those of you that asked questions, hopefully I was able to get to as many of them as possible. I do apologize if I missed any. Let me take a look at my schedule. What do I got going on? Next Friday. I got it in the calendar for next Friday, so I think we're going to be good for next Friday for Free Advice Friday. So we'll come back and we will do it all over again, all right? Thank you so much for watching. As always, hit that like button before you go. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well so you'll get notified anytime that I am going live. And that way you will never have to miss out on another one of these live streams or whenever I post new content, new podcast episodes go up, whatever it may be. Check it out, VOpreneur.com/store. Use promo code Black Friday, and that is good throughout the weekend. All right, everybody, whatever you decide to do this weekend, have fun, stay safe, and as always, go find some leads.